Gojek has a podcast. Who the hell are Gojek? Well, Gojek are a ride-hailing transport platform based out of Jakarta, Indonesia. So what? Well, they started off with offering ride-sharing for bikes because Indonesia has a very bad traffic problem. And it just grew from there. Well, you want to ride, you want a bike from A to B. Then they started offering cars. Then they started offering all kinds of services like payment. Now you can pay using GoPay on your Gojek app. And you can pay for your rides. But now you can also pay for utility bills in 7-Eleven. Now you can use that payment to buy other stuff. You can actually buy insurance, or you could buy laundry delivery. Or now you can even order a maid or a massage or watch a movie. Now Gojek is a platform. It does everything with everybody. Think about that. It's a platform. It used to be something else. And that is what's happening across the world today. Businesses are redefining themselves from the old model to the new model. It's called digital transformation. Digital transformation, digital, the technology, transformation, change, formation, shape. So it's the changing shape of business created and driven by digital technology. It's changing shape. It's changing from the old model of a business, which was a pipeline, to the new one, which was a platform. Now think of a pipeline. In the most basic sense, a pipeline takes oil from a refinery to a distribution hub. Now, if you are running a pipeline business, what kind of things are you going to be thinking about on a day-to-day basis? Probably your biggest concern is the pipeline breaking or somebody breaking the pipeline. You're probably worried about leakage. So you're going to do everything you can to control the flow of oil from A to B. You're going to protect it. You're going to make sure that it doesn't leak. You're going to make sure that the clowns don't get in and start playing around with the switches. That is the business of pipelines. And that is how businesses have been for as long as we can remember. And that is why we've organized businesses in departments, because it's an easy way to control the flow of information from A to B. That department might not be involved in transporting oil, but it could be involved in communication. Here is the press release. It's written and approved by the lawyers, and it's going out to our approved media distribution outlets through our approved channels. That's a pipeline. It's about controlling the message. God forbid if anybody in your organization mentions that hashtag, we're in trouble. Control. Pipeline. Platforms, however, are different. You cannot control the message anymore. Gojek has a podcast because they understand that communications is everyone's business and that you cannot control messages anymore. You have to curate them. That's what a platform does. You don't need to have your own motorcycles or cars, but you give the technology and the data to those that do, to enable them to service your customers that you have collected the data on. And of course, the more partners that you can bring into this ecosystem, the more services you can provide by solving problems in their daily lives, whether that is paying for utility bills or travel insurance, the more data you can collect about your customers, the more you can sell back to your partners. The more partners that you can get, the more problems that you can solve, and so on. The flywheel of the platform, the virtuous hyper-growth flywheel. That is why a brand like AirAsia wants to become a digital travel platform. They want to become a digital travel platform not because it's cool, but because that's the only way they can grow. If you're an airline, you're a pipeline. Physically, you're flying in a pipe. You want to control it. You want to make sure that you don't get any random dude flying the plane and anybody managing the baggages. It's all controlled. And fair enough, that's probably what you want flying there as a passenger. However, that doesn't scale. Like, how many different locations, destinations can you open up? You're eventually going to run out of space. We're not going to fly to the Antarctic, and we can't yet fly to the moon. So every new destination we open up comes with a diminishing marginal return until it just ain't worth it. That's why, for example, AirAsia makes money not by selling airline tickets, but by selling ancillary services. Let me explain. Every seat that AirAsia sells loses money. They actually make their money through selling you baggage, a better seat, in-flight Wi-Fi, food, etc. The whole business is geared towards selling ancillary services. So actually, AirAsia has already made the journey. It's making the first step. It's gone from pipeline airline to airline marketplace, which is this middle ground where it brokers A and B, where it sells food from A to B, who are their passengers. That is a profitable model. However, that's not the end form. The end form is a true platform. And a platform means that AirAsia collects data about its customers and plugs that data into its partners until you get this many-to-many model where all birds in the tree are singing to each other. Nobody's mediating that anymore. So where do podcasts come in? And why do Gojek have a podcast? Well, there are two things going on here. Let's start with AirAsia. AirAsia needs data. If I see the advertising hoarding at the bus stop, which says that AirAsia are now flying to Fukuoka, Japan for $200, how the hell do AirAsia know if I've seen that? That even if I have, they don't know who I am. I just saw it walking past the bus stop today as I was heading up to the studio. AirAsia now flies to Fukuoka, $199. And yet, AirAsia doesn't have a clue if I saw it and who I am. That's a problem, because then it's just random. But let's say AirAsia created a podcast. Let's say AirAsia created a podcast about Fukuoka, Japan, which they gave to their customers either through their in-flight Rocky platform or anywhere where they could collect data, the airasia.com website, for example. If I was to access that, on the very basic level, AirAsia could work out what are people interested in. Are they interested in Fukuoka or are they interested in Da Nang, Vietnam? At a very basic level. Taking it further, if I was to be able to log in to access that information, they would also know who I am. I know that you're interested in Fukuoka, Japan, because you've consumed this content. Therefore, I'm going to send you some messages about Fukuoka, Japan. I've also now built up a profile of you as a customer who's interested in Fukuoka, Japan, which is now interesting to my partner, Accor Hotels, who are also opening a hotel in Fukuoka, Japan. How would Accor Hotels know about me, the customer? Well, they know about it because AirAsia have collected data about me through me consuming this content. Now, where that gets interesting is that now becomes AirAsia's job. AirAsia is not in the business of travel. AirAsia is in the business of data. And that's how they can go from 10 times multiples as an airline on their PE ratios to Netflix style multiples. As an airline, going from 10 to 12 multiples as a CEO, that may take a lifetime. Yet going from 10 to 100 could happen in a number of years if you could just show them that the growth that you have is in the data. And that data is driven by this podcast content. Gojek are a little different. Gojek already have a lot of data about you and me. They know who we are. They know where we ride to. They know what kind of food I order, whether I order maids, what kind of movies I'm interested in. They have my payment details. Their problem is different. Their digital transformation journey is as a platform. The challenge now is everybody doing everything with everyone. For example, Gojek started out as a ride-sharing platform, and now they offer everything. Grab started out as a ride-sharing platform. Now they offer everything. AirAsia started out as an airline. Now they offer, or will offer soon, everything. Everybody doing everything with everyone. So what differentiates Grab from Uber or Gojek? Nothing. Because the products are the same. They're actually the same cars in many cases. You can see taxi drivers with both the Grab and the Gojek apps running simultaneously. So there's no difference. There's no difference in experience. The brand's logos look the same. They offer the same products, like they both offer travel. And even AirAsia may offer competitor tickets. So you have this situation where all the technological advantages that you once had will disappear. Now, that is a big problem because there was a time when you had a big technological advantage. There was a time when you were the only business on the cloud and the other guys were still using CDs. That's gone away. There was a time when you were forward thinking and you had this great brand message and they didn't. That's gone away. There's a time when you only offered this and they didn't. That's gone away. All that is left, all that is worth competing for, all that is worth fighting for are relationships and people. So Gojek's problem is not about data. And therefore podcasts for Gojek are not about creating more content to gather data. For Gojek, it's about people. Because if I'm a graduate, I'm the smartest data scientist of my generation graduating from the best university or the best startup in Asia. Now I'm looking to join one of the big boys. Where am I going to go? Do I go to Grab or do I go to Gojek? Well, what am I going to base my choice on? I'm not going to base my choice on money because, well, they're pretty much the same. I'm not going to base my choice on product. It's all the same. And their offices are all the same. What I'm going to base my choice on is people. And when you're dealing with talent, it all becomes about story. I joined your team because I believed in you, the founder. I joined this company because I saw your team talking about what you're doing and I believed. Believed because it was authentic and it resonated with me. That is how people make their choice. Not just employees, but also partners. Think about it. If I'm a tech partner and I'm happy working with Gojek because I believe in the Gojek family, then why would I go with the other guy? It's just too much trouble. I'm happy with these guys because I believe in the story that they're telling. Story creates connection. So how do you tell that story? Podcasts. So when you think about it, podcasts aren't content, but for these companies, they address the fundamental digital transformation problem that they have, which is people and talent. And that could be employees, both new and existing. That could be channel partners and it could be customers. Because your people become your brand. And recruitment becomes your new advertising. Because if you make the right choices about people upstream, the experience that you create for your customers and your partners downstream will figure itself out. The right people will figure it out. So what does podcasting do in all of this? It does two things. Let's talk about Huawei. So Huawei are a large IT company based out of China. I believe headquarters in Shenzhen or maybe even Shanghai. Who knows? But I would say Shenzhen. That's all we know. And maybe if you know Huawei, you know better. But the point is nobody really knows. In fact, nobody knows who their founder is. Let's say you are a faceless IT company who runs the internet. What does that mean? It means that if something goes wrong, you're in trouble because I don't trust you Therefore, I don't give you the benefit of the doubt. Therefore, now you're an easy target for me. Let's say that happened to Grab. Let's say Grab leaked 1 million payment details of their customers. And it's going to happen. Data leaks happen all the time, and it's only a matter of time before it happens to you. What you can't do as a communication strategy is control that message. And if you go to any PR gig today, any event with PR communications people, communications with a small c, then what you find is everybody's talking about control and crisis management. They are worried, they are fearful that your people will let this information out or the press will get hold of something, and then you are in real trouble. And the reason you are in real trouble is not because they failed to control it, but they failed to humanize the brand. Because if you are a faceless IT company that operates millions, maybe billions of data sets and operates in the background of the internet, which a lot of these companies are doing because they don't own the products themselves. They simply allow others to use their data. These are data platforms, whether you're Gojek, Grab, or Huawei. Whatever it is that you sell, people don't really understand who you are. And therefore, when it does go wrong, you become an easy target. That is a communications failure. Huawei failed because their communication strategy failed. They were an easy target for point-scoring politicians. It was not an issue with the politicians. It is a Huawei issue. So, what do you do? Well, let's take, for example, Glassdoor. Now, Glassdoor is a website which, if you type in your company name, you do not want to appear on Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a platform for disgruntled ex-employees to vent their stories about your brand. That becomes a brand experience which you don't control. So when people say to me, if we allow people to talk, then it's going to go crazy. It's going to be like a big cluster FUCK. Well, it is already. Here's the problem, is that the bad voices are already communicating on platforms and blasting their messages about you, the negative brand experiences, out to the public. All you're doing by controlling the message is controlling the good ones. You are putting all the good messages in a pipeline when all the bad ones have their own platform, websites like Glassdoor. Imagine you had 96,000 employees, like a consultancy. One I can think of is SAP. SAP have the highest employee engagement ranking of all the consultancies. They have 96,000 happy people in there. What if 1% of them were talking positively? They would wipe out any negative storytelling out there about their brand. And they're not going to negate it, but they will just drown it out with the positives. And all they're doing now by trying to control the internal messages is just giving a voice to the bad ones. Give your people a voice. Humanize the brand. It's not only about creating connection and crushing recruitment and also recruiting partners, tech partners, but it's also about building in trust and authenticity for when it will go wrong, because it will go wrong. We do not trust machines. We trust human beings. And if you're like me, I'm going to forgive you. So what do? Keep controlling the message or start catching your people doing something right?